Everything about you makes me want you, know what you're doing, baby, don't you?
Look at you. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt there, but
I've never been able to look at my own album, man. This is so weird. It's like, oh, there I am, just hanging out in a suit.
Don't You just was certified gold. So I'd like to present you with a gold record.
and you've waited a long time for this.
A long, long time.
You had some great false starts.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. It's like, you know, I've had like singles like Raymond. I'd have a CD with said Raymond.
She calls me Raymond. She thinks I'm her son. Tells me get washed up for supper before your daddy gets home.
I've learned so much about patience. You sign a record deal and you're like, I'm gonna have an album out in 2 months, you know, and you're like, oh, it's on. I'm gonna be a giant star tomorrow. But it doesn't quite work like that, and I'm glad it didn't. Though I wasn't ready in the beginning, and I came up with so much more music in between that period, and really found out who I was as an artist, and here it is in 12 songs.
Talk about attaching a PA system and a wireless mic to you, and how that really created this monster that is now Brett Eldredge.
Mom and Dad bought me a sound system, and they brought it one day and they're like, all right, we're gonna start taking this around and you can sing with this wherever you wanna go. They would load up the back of a minivan, this little red minivan, and we'd go to these gigs and we'd go to the, you know, the cafe downtown or the business party at the golf course or whatever it was, they'd take it. My mom read a booklet of how to run the sound, and I would take the wireless microphone and walk around and I'd be like, Mom, turn me up a little bit. That was my intro into showbiz.
Well, I got the chrome all shined up. Look how the moon just climbed up. Who knows where we'll wind up. Ooh.
The neatest thing for me watching you hold that album is, it also for me flipping through it, is I know how good of a singer and performer you are, but this is where I'm waking up to the fact that how good of a songwriter you are.
I moved here to be a singer. When I got here and I saw people on these stages and they have a guitar and they'd be sitting up there by themselves playing these songs that you might have already heard on the radio and you're like, is that a cover song? No, that's the song that person wrote for that person. Or that's an artist and they wrote that song for themselves. And I was like, well, why can't I do that? I want to do that. And so I just started writing these songs and I started to figure out, and I just had a knack for it in some certain way where I'd hear these melodies and these random lines that I might be singing in the shower, or I'll be at McDonald's and hear these old men over coffee talking and to hear them say a certain line or something that just catches your mind. And it's so cool to be able to take a song and write it from in a room with just a couple other people, and the next thing you know, tons of people are out there singing it back to you.
Little cabin up in the mountains or a cabana on a beach somewhere. All I know is you're not here, and all that means is I gotta get there.
Wrote with a bunch of people on this album, two that rise to the top and to the forefront.
Yes, I mean, Bill Anderson is a songwriting legend, Grand Ole Opry legend. Tom Douglas, I mean, he wrote The House That Built Me and a million other ones, but The House That Built Me is one of my favorites.
Hello World.
Yes, Hello World. First time we wrote a song called One Mississippi on the album. And I was so nervous because I looked up to this guy so much, and I heard he's the nicest guy in the world, but you know, I'm still nervous. I walk in a room and he's playing on piano, and the only thing I could think to do was just start singing. So it was pretty much how we met, is I just started singing. A few hours later, we came up with One Mississippi, and that's one of my favorite songs on the album.
I'm half of who I used to be. One Mississippi.
How do you capture this moment right now and sustain this energy, sustain this feeling? Because you've never been at this place before, but God, it feels good, doesn't it?
Oh man, I remember that feeling of when it wasn't like this, and I'll always remember that. I mean, it's humbling, you know, to know what I was like when I was laying in my bed, staring up at the ceiling, thinking, man, I could be in a bus right now, rolling down the highway, and I want to so bad, but it's not here yet, you know, and I want to be out there. Why am I laying here? Why can't I be out there? And then I'm rolling down the highway in a bus, staring at the ceiling, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm here now. And now I've got an album coming out, and now I've got a song that's in the, you know, the top 5 on the radio or whatever it is.
Don't lie, you got it all figured out. That smile has got me spinning around.
It's awesome, man, and it makes it so much sweeter to go through all those battles, and I want to do this for a long time, and so as long as I got that smile on my face for a long time, I'll keep making music, and hopefully people want to hear it, and this is just the beginning for me.